like she said, create a structure. Okay, when you come in the morning, you have certain things you do. Now there's something we call IEP, the individual educative plan, tailored for every child on the spectrum. Now you look at what the child needs and work accordingly. And then when there's a class activity, you don't just push the child aside basically because he's on the spectrum. No, you include the child in every activity, whether counting, alphabets, maths, or whatever it is. You make sure you include the child. That will even help the child to be more socially integrated and get better.
Okay.
Yes.
So Juliet, what is the biggest challenge in diagnosing an autistic person? What's the biggest challenge you think you guys have come across in your work as therapists?
Okay, we don't do the diagnosis.
Okay.
The medical practitioners do the diagnosis.
But do you have like a medical team, a medical personnel among your team?
Yes, we actually partner with different hospitals.
Okay.
Yes. So now, for them, they do the diagnosis. We do assessments to know the milestone of this child that we take off. So, are you asking now that with this that we don't do diagnosis, that the biggest challenge we have experienced? Okay, maybe working with children with autism that are having the type 3 kind of autism.
So, which is the highest type now? Is it 1 or 2 or 3?
3.
3 is the highest.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them have some level of extra strength.
Yeah, because I remember I used to have a friend who has a child who was autistic. He was restless. At every minute of the day, he's busy, as in he's climbing, he's turning around, and all that. And like, does it rest? Does it not exhaust his energy and all that? So what do you manage?
With such hyperactive child, we have the child needs certain sensory needs, attention. So we have a lineup of activities that can make that hyperactive child to reduce that excess exhibition to come to a balance.
There is this myth about autistic people who say they are very intelligent, but it's bringing it together. That is the problem. Is that some people say they are very dull, they cannot comprehend, so they are not to be reckoned with.
Autism is a spectrum disorder. Some children, it is a myth for those persons to say they are very dull. Now, a child, we have a lineup of 3 children, for instance.
Okay.
This one might not be verbal, that is having communication challenge. This one now might be emerging verbal, but still have social challenge and learning disability. Then we have the gifted ones.
Okay.
That even in quote, the neurotypical ones, you might tell them 2 plus 2, the neurotypical ones, that is the children without autism. They will say, okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. We have children with autism that as you're telling them 2 plus 2 times 2 times 4 times 10, as you're saying it, they can mentally solve it and give you a solution. You actually have a child that as you're telling her, I'm not going to call her name, as you're telling her, for instance, let me use the words Joy. Joy, this times this. She's telling you, instead of she's solving, she's telling you this times this. Maybe the normal children, the neurotypical children will tell you 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4. When you tell them 2 times 5 and you skip 1, they tend to be stranded. But she can mentally solve it and tell you immediately.
Wow.
So, but
is that like a gift or super intelligence or something has to do with autism?
yes, she is specially gifted. Some are specially gifted for their cognitive skill in terms of maths, problem solving, equations, and all that. Some of them are really gifted. So, not that every child with autism is dull.
Okay.
Some are very smart in their cognitive skill. Then the other person that might be smart might not be doing very well in communication, in expressing or socializing with people. So it just varies.
Okay, now my next question is, what is your key message for World Autism Day Awareness Tomorrow? What is the key thing you are giving out tomorrow? What is
Tomorrow, 2nd of April 2025, my key message to everybody out there is that we need to celebrate the differences of individuals with autism. Celebrate their differences by accepting them, including them, integrating them into the society, and there should be no form of discrimination. Thank you.
So if you peradventure, if you're not a therapist and you come across an autistic individual, what would have been in one of those that display, that's the display, and you were not a therapist, how would have you reacted?
That's a tricky question. I say that because before I got here, I didn't know anything about autistic children and all that.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I see children behave like that, I could probably say probably lack of home training or something, you know. But I thank God for the experience I have.
Okay.
Yes, it has broadened my eyes. I can see now. I can see beyond normal. You know, you can actually identify them and then celebrate their differences as they come along.
I'm sorry, but there may be some normal children who portray that kind of excessive energy. Now, how do you pick out? Now, if you have a classroom, that you have children in the classroom now, and then they're all like that, how do you, is that something that is typical? Like, you just look at it, say, this child is autistic. Is that something, how do you identify them?
Okay, a classroom of neurotypical and neurodivergent children.
Supposing they're all together, because at some point, maybe the parents may not even know that their child is that. So it may come from the teacher or something will say, we observe that this child is, why don't you check this child for check? So if in that general environment now, how do you pick out you now as a therapist?
They have certain symptoms you're likely to see in children with autism.
Okay.
Let me use children of 3 years old. Like, I work with those kind of children and they are many.
Okay.
Now, you see them, they are all mixed in a classroom. And 3 years old, you know, that's their play stage, playing up and down and all that. You will always know that, this one, she's playing, you know, like other children, but her playing is going extra. She's hitting like other children, but this is not normal.
Okay.
You know that, she has interest in this object, but the interest that children have interest in objects, but the way she expresses her interest in this particular object, because they can be very clinging to toys.
Okay.
That this is not normal. It's either she's overly clinging to it abnormally. That is with your expertise, when you see them, in the very few minutes you stay with them, you should be able to identify either that they are flapping or they are just spinning, they are being restless. Not the form of restless of Junior sits down and Junior will go and sit down. The restlessness of, you know that she cannot just sit down or he cannot just sit down. You just know that he just wants to do this.
Okay. So in a nutshell now, do we have any form of cure? Again, I ask again, is there any form of cure or management of autistic children?
Well, in the management aspect, that's why we have therapy intervention, okay, at different levels, okay. That's like the best way of managing them, all right. But certainly there is no cure.
It is not a disease that we want to cure.
Yes.
Okay.
There is no cure. However, we have experts that, like I said, the speech and the language expert, the behavioral expert, the occupational therapist. All these are people who have studied various segments in autism and can provide adequate attention to the child.
You want to add something?
Yes, just like she said correctly, it is not a disease that you want to cure.
Okay.
It is just a difference in their brain. So with everything she said, the various therapists coming together, you can get a better solution, a better child. And we have seen them develop from non-verbal to bringing out of words and to having functional communication.
So what is your awareness message as we wrap up this program now? What is your awareness message to the viewer out there, to everyone out there?
Okay, awareness message. We are saying we are empowering autistic voices. We are talking about inclusion in your time, in your places of work, in your systems. Everything you do, include them. We're talking about support. We're talking about encouragement. We're talking about their rights. We are advocating for their rights as therapists.
And you, Juliet?
Yes, let us accept them, show love, quit discrimination, and please encourage the parents of these children. Thank you.
And if you watch the program to this time, which means you've done yourself some good, and if you're out there, you know someone who knows someone who knows someone, tell them that if Elon Musk could do it, to strive to the level it is, that's your child, that's your neighbor's child, that's your brother, your cousin can do it. All we need to do is to give them the adequate support they need, give them the love they need, give them everything, check their emotions, their every part of them. Get a therapist today. I'm almost scared they're here for you. Get a therapist and get it done, and then you see your children at the top of their business. Thank you for staying with us. I am Beauty Benjamin. It's been nice having you on Challenge Diaries. From setback to comeback. Don't change the dial. More interesting program lined up for you from this station. Stay tuned. I'll see you same time, same station next week.